Hello, my name is Dave Dinkel, and I've been a real estate investor since 1975. What you're looking at now is video article number 2 in the series that I've created for homeowners like yourself that are either in or facing foreclosure. The title of this video is very simply the 2 most common problems that people have in solving their foreclosures. Well, the first one is a myriad of information coming at you all at the same time from a myriad group of individuals, and I'll go through what each one of those are in just a second. The second biggest problem that people have is their inability to make timely decisions. Now, whether you're in denial about what's happening or you just aren't sure what to do, you're better off to make a decision even if it's wrong than not make a decision at all, because the court will not stop just because you're not making a decision to take care of it. One of the most common things we see happen is the homeowner knows he's in foreclosure. He stops taking calls from the collection part of the bank or from the mitigation officer that's involved with the bank, the lender's representative, and he doesn't go to the door when he hears people knocking on the door because he knows he's going to be served. Now, that's absolutely foolish because the court has taken all this into consideration. You're not a bad person, but they don't care because the law will move on without you. And instead of having to serve you with the document, they can do it as a matter of public notice. So just because you've avoided service doesn't mean you've even begun to avoid the problem. What you've actually done is increase the problem. So the resolution to number 2 that I just mentioned is you have to get information from a single source that talks about all of this information coming at you and sort of clears the air. That's why I developed the course, 32 Ways to Quickly Stop Foreclosure. And that's at www.stopmyforeclosuremess.com. Well, let's go back to number 1, where you have so much information coming at you, and who's bringing it to you? Well, as I mentioned in a previous video, it's very possible that investors will know that you are in foreclosure before you know yourself. And the reason for that is generally they either subscribe to a service that sends a person physically to the courthouse every day, and the clerk of the court creates a file for every list penance or pending foreclosure, and that's available to the public. And there are people all across the United States that do that on a daily basis. For the investors who are listening, there's even a more clever way to get those names, and that's even before they've been filed to court, but we're not going into that here. So what you have is a knock at your front door, and you answer the door, and someone will say to you, "I was at the courthouse today and I noticed your name is coming up for foreclosure. Can I help you keep the bank from stealing your home?" That's the beginning of a series of investors coming at you with one of 2 things. They either want to buy your house to be able to resell it and make a profit on it, or they won't do it, or they want to help you fill out the forms that will help you resolve your foreclosure. And in most states, if they fill out the forms for you or with you, they are practicing law without a license, but you don't know that. And that filling out the forms that you can do yourself or should use an attorney for are going to cost you many more times the cost of an attorney to do it. And you don't have investors with malpractice insurance, but your attorney does. So if you're going to do the forms, either do them yourself or do it right and go through an attorney to fill them out. The next thing that comes up is, of course, you're going to contact the bank and you're going to speak to a lender's representative who has your case. Now, it's very likely, the ones that I talk to on a regular basis usually have about 300 cases in their files. With the reorganization of the major lenders recently, those could be 500 or more files. They're working on all the cases. You'll find when you call that most of the time they don't answer the phone. They don't have time to. And all they want to know is the facts. They don't care about your hardship case. And the court doesn't care about your hardship case no matter how bad it is. Now, in the book that I've written for you, I talk to you how to use that to your advantage. But generally speaking, if you go about it yourself, you're going to find out no one cares. So the lenders have a small ulterior motive, and that is that if your house has a lot of equity, they're not afraid to take it back because they can resell it and keep that profit. And they know that before you call, because as soon as that document, that case for you is opened, they will do an appraisal on the property, or what's called a broker's price opinion, to find out if their loan is in fact collateralized by more equity than what they started with. The next group that's going to come around is the realtors. About 80 to 85% of the people we work with in foreclosures really want to keep their home. They don't want to have to sell, and they don't want to have to move. Well, realtors are there because they know that the vast majority of the times you're going to have to sell a home. They're going to have to sell your home. The solutions I give you in the book are short-term to stop it, but the real long-term solution is